What's up, YouTube? Robert the Coroner Drapp here, and as I promised yesterday, I am going to go on ahead and give you all the backstory for the last couple weeks that we've been playing Dungeons & Dragons. Now, my friend Adam, who is a really cool guy, decided to run this campaign kind of semi off of the previous campaign that we'd been playing that kind of got a little prematurely ended. I was kind of in agreement with him in that I understood that the person running it didn't really want to continue doing this, but then again, I also loved the campaign. So, with no further ado, let's get into the story. This is also taken from the DM's notes. He posts the recap on our Facebook group page. So that's where I'm getting all of this story. This is his interpretation of the story and the events that have occurred thus far. It is a clear night, just after midnight. The stars are out, and alarm horns are ringing in the distance. In an alley, our party finds themselves hooded, holding bags of loot, trying to run straight for the meetup spot. At the end of the alley, they find the most inept-looking guards possible. They're checking carts and people. Zed, having the ability to fly with his Arakocra wings, that's my friend Corey, takes Poppy, the gnome, my friend Nia, and her satchel of loot and flies into the air flies her over the street, bridge, and over another street. Naviri, a tiefling sorcerer, who is my friend Danielle, silences her footsteps with magic and quickly bolts past the unaware guards with deft precision. Kit waits in an alley with Zed's take of the loot and helps Paris, who is my husband, Jasper, out of her corset and into an amazing disguise as a happily pregnant woman of triplets. I think Kit was one of the NPCs. As Paris leaves the alley, a guard notices her and asks her to lift her skirt and shake it to see if she's carrying anything illegal. Paris does a little shimmy at first, then realizes the guard meant her skirt, flaps it to the left and right a bit. The guard leaves her be, and Kit sneakily makes it to her without issue. Zed perches atop a roof to make sure his abandoned sister in crime and fellow gang member make it safely past. They cross the bridge arm in arm and are stopped again by two misshapen guards that no one would mistake for competent. They easily convince the nincompoops they are traveling noblewomen and handmaid and daren't be accosted. They move aside and our proud duo walk to victory across the way, all the way to the meetup spot. At a local bar on the outskirts of town, a VIP room was ready and waiting for our not heroes, where Jack Kelly, local orphan helper and fence who always knows a guy, comes up to pay the gang for their swag. 2 orders of business. First, we got a guy, hey you, at the bath who's got some information on a job I hoyed about. God. Just aside, trying to do the New York accent is not my forte. And I think that's what he was going for. Like that New York gangster, real deep Bronx accent, or mafioso. And it's like, no, don't do that. Get the map off him, and we can go after some magic items again. Order number 2 is we gotta name the gang. After some truly inspired ideas from Cards Against Humanity, they live streamed this, and to kind of put this in perspective, I was not there. I still had to be at work, and I think I was there until like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and they'd gone to where we were going to play, and they decided, and they did their thing. They were uh, playing this part, which is why my character Genji is not in there, and also probably why my friend Kayla, whose character is Bubbles the Necromancer, I'm hardcore, uh, wasn't there either. So, oh shoot, haha. See, by the way, on that part, which I will probably not edit because I'm gonna be lazy today. I mean, I've already ran more than 4 miles today, which is a half mile more than I ran yesterday. So I feel like I've earned it. And I worked on the light a little bit. For those who, I'm getting way off track. I'll talk about it probably in another video, probably on Monday or whatever I can get around to. But back to the thing. And this was done on Facebook. They live streamed this thing, and I was able to catch it as I was walking out from work. And they were pulling the white cards from Cards Against Humanity, and they came up against some of the good ones. It was Tunnel Snakes, Destiny's Child, Auschwitz, and Helicopter Lightsabers. The gang decided on a name with deeper meaning: Hot Pockets. I voted on that one. I voted for that one, rather. Because I thought it was hilarious. It's like, okay, yeah, in the modern terms, Hot Pockets. But the olden terms, like, they're stealing shit, so everything that they have in their pockets is hot, so Hot Pockets. Perfect. Upon naming their group, they also decide to practice some of their skills on the man holding the information they wanted. Poppy, the bard, charmed him very well, and Paris seduced him thoroughly, and Zed pickpocketed him out of his lunch money, instructions, and map. After boozing him up enough to pass out, Paris left our bamboozled mercenary in the room upstairs. With the map and clear goal, they made for... my husband made mention of the fact that I decided to cover that scanty and knee socks from panty and stocking with garter belt, the anime, with the Bolton flag. He's like, how dare you cover my beauties with that vile banner? And I'm like, but they're both evil. Scanty and knee socks aren't evil. They're just misunderstood. Evil. This coming from a proclaimed Sith. And yes, I am a Jedi. Well, got my own code for that, but I fall more on the Jedi than the Sith end of the spectrum. So, after picking up... the Hot Pockets went on their mission to bring back magic items, and along the way they've defeated 3 ghouls chasing a dog. This one I was actually there for. This dog was promptly named Paris and rides around in... Princess, and he rides around in Paris's purse. Once arriving at the ruins of Dedende, Kit actually accidentally set off a magical trip alarm of laughing skulls that woke the dead, who began chatting with one another and drinking and yakking it up. The Hot Pockets convinced the mercenaries guarding the excavation team to run away after making poor Jimmy, one of the mercenaries, throw up and fall backwards into the fire, which was slightly put out by said vomit. Arriving in the large mausoleum. Oh yeah, by the way, the magic triple arm was actually put out by Genji. I rolled and I crit failed, and the DM's like, "You should tell a joke. You should tell a joke right now." So, because even though my character has decent intelligence and pretty good wisdom, I felt like if you make an intelligence roll and you crit fail, you should be fucking dumb. You should tell the dumbest joke you can. And so I went in and I told a really stupid joke, and they laughed. The shrieking alarms laughed. The skulls started chuckling, and then I told another one, and they started uproariously laughing, and that stopped the shrieking. So, arriving in the largest mausoleum, they were greeted by the sight of a dark room filled with coffins, some ale in the corner, and a skeleton with his legs up on the arms of an armchair. Upon investigating the ale, Genji and I believe the Arakakra, played by Corey, the room became well lit and a jovial banquet hall, filled with dead things laughing and being merry. The rest of the Hot Pockets quickly made their way into the next room and found the gnomes and the magic artifacts, magic masks. Naviri actually managed to convince Genji that his arm isn't real, because, like I said, I'm playing Genji Shimada from Overwatch in D&D, and I'm playing it down to the bone. He's got one robot arm, which was made by Bubbles, so that's got to be a thing. A joke so funny the afterlife heard it, because at the table, because I started drinking the ale, but the Arakakra didn't. I was still under the thrall, like, yeah, you know what, hell with it, let's sit down and have a drink. We're having fun, we've got time. So I start drinking with them, and at one point, he's a little drunk, pulls off the arm, throws it on there. How about a hand? So, after picking up their masks, the Hot Pockets set up camp outside the ruins and made for Vivir, which is the town we're in the morning. Genji went to the Mages Guild to ask about his mask who had a few answers for him. Just that his mask was divine in nature and not enchanted by wizard or fae. Genji arranged for a research session later in the day to test out the masks, and the Mages Guild was happy to do some research. Paris performed marvelously at the Honey Badger Inn and Pub, making money hand over fist. Kit and Bubbles bought new weapons at the Diamond Crystal weapons shop in Vivir, known as Time to Diamond. Oh yeah, Kit is played by Kiira. It just suddenly reminded me, because I remember this part. I had to be with them. They were soon. Kit got a new finely crafted whip and darts. Bubbles bought a mace and some vials of poison. They were soon joined by Genji, who asked the blacksmith to craft him a great pair of brass knuckles and enchant them with psychic and radiant damage. Genji was informed that he had to contact the clerics and mages guild to have them enchanted. Thus, Genji's quest would bring him around the city. From there, they all made their way back to the Honey Badger, where Jack Kelly happily reunited with his favorite band of thieves. He told them about a lucrative opportunity to rob the persons funding the archaeology dig they just robbed, Lady Bridget. Her house is on the other side of town, but they had a day to go there and go before getting it, so Kit and Paris headed to the Mages Guild to test out the masks, while Bubbles and Genji headed to the Church of Saloon to procure enchantment on the brass knuckles. Bubbles also received the Sending Stone of Information of the church in case they ever needed rescue or something else. They all met up at the fated room 5A. The gnomish little mage helped run them through tests and gave blessing to enchant the knuckles. Yay! Upon putting on the mask, Kit found herself feeling more confident? Or maybe competent. Yes, definitely competent. She and everyone else who put on their masks found that they could do things that required more experience than ever before. Gained 3 levels, and that was something interesting. And once they took off their masks, they felt themselves returning to normal. Bubbles delighted in terrifying the researcher, and Genji and Kit delighted in testing out her abilities on a practice dummy. I think he meant to type. Once they had checked their masks, the researcher asked Genji if he could tap someone's mask. Nothing happened. This escalated until Genji punched Bubbles' mask. I failed here, which caused a bright light and for him to fly backwards. Bubbles was completely unfazed. The researcher revealed that this made the artifact truly ancient, as newer divine artifacts were allowed to break, as a godly pact had been made in times of old. Happy with the knowledge of their masks, they returned to Jack Kelly to learn more about Lady Bridget. She used to throw wild occult parties, but has since stopped, and is no longer very sociable. Her own servants don't attend the shops except her butler, who has already... Wait, what day is today? Crap, the Hot Pockets had 1 hour to intercept the butler making his weekly shopping trip. The Hot Pockets tried seducing him, gaining an invitation, but settled on pickpocketing his key rings and making a soap impression of it. There was a small magic shop on this side of town, and the group decided to pick up bags of holding for their next job. Jack Kelly knew a guy who could make the key impression into a passable key, and thus ended our adventure for the week. Now, this was about 3 weeks packed into one. I do plan on, making a video tomorrow. The only downside is I've currently mislaid my SD card. I can't find it, and this is something that irritates me greatly, because I would like to have it so that way I can record longer than just, I believe, like the hour that we're going to have. Also, I don't know how I'm going to set it all up, because currently I'm using the stand that I would use for my camera as a tripod for the light that I have crafted. And I love my light. I need to get some diffusion on it, because I realize that currently it's very harsh, and indeed, seeing in my glasses, you can see, like, right here, it's very bright. It is a light bulb inside a cardboard box with a lot of aluminum foil around it to brighten it, to make it really pop. And I did make a little bit of adjustments, thanking Ian Horner from Loading Ready Run, who is a wonderfully competent guy. He runs a show on YouTube. It's not instructional. It's more of a let's try. And in that spirit, I tried to make my own softbox, and I asked for his advice. And he said, well, you could use a little bit more aluminum foil here, and you might want to get some parchment paper to go across the face of the box, so that way it's diffused, so that way it's good. But yeah, I'm gonna pick that diffusion paper up on payday. I've also looked into getting a bottle of La Fin du Monde, and that's like $9.50. So Buh. That's going to be something else. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share any of the videos that I have in here, and I will see you all tomorrow for D&D.